Thursday, June 19th meeting of the Ascension Parish Council will come to order. Our invocation tonight will be led by the Reverend Richard Rayburn of Christian Assembly Church. Reverend Rayburn, please stand.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight that you are such a great God, a God that's inexpressibly glorious in holiness and worthy of all possible honor. We pray tonight that you would bless this meeting, bless everyone here, Lord, in the name of Jesus. Thank you tonight for your Son Jesus who died for our sin. Thank you, Lord, for his many blessings. Thank you for the blessing of a great parish. We thank you for having a privilege to live here and enjoy the beauty of this parish and the growth. In the name of Jesus, bless the parish president and all the council and everyone here tonight. In thy Son Jesus' name and for his sake. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight our pledge will be led by Girl Scout Troop 842. Their leader is Mrs. Tammy Bella. We have Lauren Bella, Emily Bayheim, Emily Garrett, Marcy Clement, and Kendall Mitchell.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lengthy agenda tonight. We'll get on with it. We'll move quick as we can. I'd like to have a few announcements first. I'd like to welcome Mrs. Lindsay Manda back to her seat where she belongs. Lindsay's been out maternity leave, and we certainly welcome her back. Lindsay, on behalf of the council, I have a little something for you, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to wish Parish President a belated happy birthday. His birthday was Tuesday, and I'd like to wish him a happy birthday. Also, Parish President and his wife are the proud recipients of a new granddaughter. One more item, I'd like to just say a few words. I lost my mother-in-law yesterday evening, and I'd like to thank everybody for your calls, your condolence. She was a rock. She was my rock, and I thank y'all. Thank you very much. One more item, and we'll get going. On a good note, we have a Santa Monica graduate, 2004, Miss Mandy Ridgewell, who will be representing Ascension Parish in the Miss Louisiana contest this weekend. So hopefully she can bring it home, and we'll have another real ambassador for the parish. Thank y'all. We'll now get going with a roll call. Miss Suzanne, make note that everyone present with the exception of Chris Lohr. Chair additions have no chair addition, no emergency item. Public comment period. Anyone wishing to talk on any item on the agenda, please sign in with Ms. Suzanne. You'll be allotted 3 minutes. We'll get to our presentation section of the agenda. Our first presentation will be the parish flag to the Ascension All-Star 8-year-old team. Their team and their coach, Wayne McDonald. They will be going to represent our parish in the, is it the World Series, if I got that right? Wow. Pretty good. So if y'all would come forward, please, sir.
Come on up. On behalf of the parish, we want to present y'all with the parish flag, and hopefully y'all represent not only Ascension Parish, but Louisiana well in the World Series. Anybody been watching? Anybody's got a score on LSU? Postponed for now. But anyway, we want to wish y'all well. As I said, I know some of your coaches have been knowing them a long time. I know they're good men, and we appreciate not only the children's efforts, but your efforts as coaches. And we want to wish you good luck.
We
Thank y'all,
appreciate it.
Coach.
We really do. Coach, would you go down the line and introduce each player, please?
I sure can.
Y'all double up right here.
Come on around, guys. Halen, come on around, boy.
Come on, I'm not going to fight.
Okay, we'll start right here. Colin Schutz. Hayden Vaughn. I'm sorry, Braden Willis. Garrison Berger. Jonte Joshua. Blaze Bro. Halen Miller. Andrew McDonald. Dylan Kindler, Cole Murillo, and Addison Rivera.
Introduce your coaches, please.
I'm sorry.
Delmar Rambin.
Delmar Rambin, Wayne McDonald, John Vaughn, Bart Bro, Mike Miller. Very quickly, Andrew. He got it in his pocket.
Oh.
This is the ball that all of us signed.
Well, we appreciate it. We're going to put it in the parish president's office, and y'all can, when y'all come back with the trophy, y'all
There you go. You can
come
have
by
that
and show
too.
it to us.
Thank you very much.
And we have parish pins also for all the kids and
Well, thank you so much.
coaches. Y'all
Appreciate y'all
pass
having
them
us.
out.
All right, thank you.
Wear them on y'all's
Good luck.
uniforms.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank
Let's
you.
roll, guys.
Good luck, coach.
Straight out the middle.
Thank you.
Next, we'll have a presentation to the Ascension Amateur Radio Club. A proclamation, Mr. Todd Trusclair, please.
To proclaim June 28th and 29th Ascension Amateur Radio Weekend in Ascension Parish. Whereas Ascension Amateur Radio Club combines residents from all walks of life who share a common interest in the hobby of amateur ham radio, community service, and emergency communications, and whereas AARC is celebrating 25 years of commitment to promoting radio knowledge, fraternalism, and individual operation efficiency, as well as programs and activities that advance the general interest and welfare of amateur radio in the community. And whereas while enjoying the information among fellow amateurs, Ascension Amateur Radio Club also provides a valuable community service in the form of emergency communications and information transfers during natural and civil disasters by assisting Homeland Security, Red Cross, and our local community service providers. Now there to be proclaimed, I, Tommy Martinez, President of the Parish of Ascension, do hereunto proclaim June 28th and 29th, 2008, as Ascension Amateur Radio Weekend in Ascension Parish.
people out there that kept the line of communication open, so they play a vital part in our emergency preparations here. Thank you.
Okay, next we have a proclamation, Mosquito Awareness Week.
To proclaim June 22nd through 28th, Pele Mosquito Week in Ascension Parish. Whereas yearly outbreaks of West Nile virus have occurred throughout the state, as well as sporadic outbreaks of St. Louis encephalitis and Eastern equine encephalitis, and these events have verified the fact that mosquitoes are an ongoing threat to human and animal health, and whereas besides the adverse effects to human health, excessive numbers of mosquitoes diminish enjoyment of our bountiful outdoors, exceptional recreation opportunities, hinder outdoor work, decrease livestock productivity and value, reduce property values, and discourage tourism. And whereas a pivotal factor of mosquito proliferation is standing water, which the mosquito egg must have to hatch. And whereas the many mosquito control and abatement programs within the state have joined forces in a statewide awareness campaign to educate the general public about the importance of eliminating containers such as tin cans, old tires, and buckets from around the premise, which can collect water and serve as a source of production. And whereas these efforts, along with those of local control programs, reduce mosquito numbers and the dependence on pesticides, in addition to lessening the risk of mosquito-borne diseases. And whereas the Cajun word pile means to crush, destroy, or eliminate, and the efforts of those fighting the mosquito deserve the full support of the citizens of Ascension Parish. Now be it proclaimed, I, Tommy Martin, as President of the Parish of Ascension, do hereunto proclaim June 22nd through 28th, 2008, as Pele Mosquito Week in Ascension Parish.
Okay, item D, we have National Go Skateboarding Day, June 21st, 2008. Would the members of the skateboarding come up? Yeah. Okay, Ms. Suzanne?
To proclaim June 21st, 2008, Go Skateboarding Day in Ascension Parish. Whereas the 5th annual Go Skateboarding Day falls on the first day of summer, and whereas as a national nonprofit event, the preliminary goal of Go Skateboarding Day is to encourage everyone to experience the unique exhilaration and freedom one feels while riding a skateboard, whether they are seasoned veterans or have never stepped foot on a board. And whereas the sport of skateboarding and the number of enthusiasts in Ascension Parish continues to grow, and whereas the world participation in this single day's event will exceed 25 million in 42 countries, and whereas this day's event is also used by enthusiasts around the nation as a charity fundraising and community awareness platform. Now there be it proclaimed, I, Tommy Martin, as President of the Parish of Ascension, do hereunto proclaim June 21st, 2008, as Go Skateboarding Day in Ascension Parish.
And we actually have a shirt for you. So.
There we go. We appreciate it.
What's that, the recreation committee?
Yeah.
We would like to let y'all know that this Saturday for Go Skateboarding Day, we'll be doing a fundraiser out at the Ascension Civic Center, and it's going to start from 3 to 9, just $5. All the money that we earn goes to the Yours Foundation, which stands for Your Own Unique Riding Style, and it's going to be a great time. We had the fundraiser back in March, and it was a great success, and we're hoping that this one's going to be even more. We're going to have 5 bands, we're going to have live music, we're going to have skateboarding. Everyone bring their helmets, too, so bring your helmets. And we're going to have prizes for, we're going to have 2 competitions, and there's going to be prizes and a raffle and everything like that. So it should be great fun and a lot of excitement. So I look forward to, hopefully everybody can come out and enjoy the day with us.
stand in front of the gentleman if y'all look tall. There you go, that's a good one.
I don't believe Randy can get one down here. Me you didn't come to Kool-Aid, right? I got some cat.
Next on our agenda, we have a certificate of recognition for our jambalaya king, Jody Ellisor. Quite a feat. Jody's waited his turn, I want to say 12, 14 years.
15 years.
15. It's a long time, huh, Jody?
Sooner or later, you got to.
Congratulations to you. You'll be quite an ambassador for the parish. We appreciate you.
Take care of yourself. Recognize me.
You don't want me? Fat boy or fat boy?
Okay. George, I'm just going to take the picture.
After the next meeting, and Donaldson, Jody's gonna cook a jambalaya.
Kool-Aid. I got you. I have a Gatorade, brother. Oh, yeah, Kool-Aid.
Item 6, Parish President. I will have a speaker for item 6B and C, Ms. Goppel. Parish President report, item A. Update on Ascension Parish book. I'm sorry, Ms. Pylanu, please.
Good evening, Council, Chairman, and members of the Ascension Parish Council. The Ascension Parish book was copyrighted in 2007 with many local historians contributing their history of their areas of the parish, including, and I'm just going to read a few of them because there's more areas in the parish that I even knew existed until this book was published. AC, Belle Helene, Bluff, Brignac, Burnside, Carencrow, Cornerview, Darrow, Dutchtown, Galvez, Geismar, Gonzales, Hobart, Hope Villa, Oak Grove, Lake, Laurel Ridge, Marshallville, pardon any mispronunciation of these, McElroy, Prairieville, Sanama, Duck Roost, Seals Point, Sorrento, West Bank of Ascension. The book was edited by Miss Pylanu, and is offered. It was offered for sale during the Ascension Parish Bicentennial of 2007. The book is full of the history of the parish, but also colorful stories of events from every corner of our parish, as well as pictures and poems. The profits from this book will be used to sponsor scholarships to deserving students from the local high schools. The cost of the book is $40. Those interested may purchase a book from Ms. Pye, who just happened to bring a box of books with her tonight. So we would hopefully ask that everybody put one of these books, buy it and put it on your coffee table. It's a nice gift. And we have some of the contributing historians here tonight. We have Ms. Doris Millay-Melanson, Harriet Babin Miller, and Ira Paul Babin, as well as Ms. Pye Lanou. And we thank you for giving us the opportunity to highlight this book once again.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
How you doing?
Sherry or Ms. Pye? Ms. Pye, where will these books be available for the general public to acquire?
We do have them at our parish offices that's available.
Okay. Okay, thank y'all very much. Item B, Ms. Catherine.
I'm going to pass on B, but I'd like to speak on C.
Yes, ma'am. Let me get through B, please, ma'am, first. Thank you, ma'am. Parish President, resolution in support of Nucor Steel Mill, St. James.
The River Region Caucus asked all the parishes to write a resolution in support, and certainly we put a copy of a resolution in and changed it, but you can you can rewrite it any way you'd like, but I just want to say that I'm in full support of it. I think it'll be good for this area as a region. It brings jobs and economic development, and I just want to say that we're asking the council to draft a resolution. If you like the one in the packet, fine. If you want to change it, fine. But that's all. That's what it's about.
Motion to accept it.
Motion by Councilman Thompson, second by Councilman Schexnayder. Any discussion? Any objection? Resolution passes. Item C, Ms. Catherine, please.
Thank you, Chairman Bell. Agenda item C says comments. It's not specific, but since it has been placed on the agenda, any citizen has the right under the Open Meetings Law to comment. Even if you pass on an agenda item, the public has the right to speak. The bi-monthly meetings of the council are to be business meetings. At your May 15th meeting, which I attended, no council business was conducted for more than 1 hour after the meeting started. The business meeting is not for parading in front of camera or taking pictures or making speeches. These activities, though they might be good and give a perception of our cooperation and friendliness together, it might be better to have a venue where this could be expressed at a luncheon hosted by the parish president. The council agendas are to be specific, and the parish president is given an opportunity to speak and to report on his administrative activities, but it shouldn't be used to grandstand or make unspecified comments or blindside the public or slip in documents at the
Ma'am,
last
I'd
minute.
ask you to hold your comments and not talk about
Let's
any
get
certain
down to
person.
business now. I have 3 minutes.
You have 3 minutes. but
financial
your comment is
advisor-
not on the agenda.
This is on comments, sir. It was unspecific, so I can comment on the comments. Let's get down to business. A financial advisor once asked people of different incomes how much money would be enough. And no matter what their income, $25,000 or $250,000, the answer was always the same, just a little bit more. The tax collection in Ascension Parish for both property and sales tax have risen over the past 5 years and are expected to continue to increase for another 5. This was never part of your political campaigns, but now you have expressed an interest to put taxes on the ballot. The parish president has even prepared a survey that he hopes to give to see if taxes will likely pass. There is talk of a tax for recreation, and a little over $1 million is budgeted a year for recreation. If the money spent on Lamar was transferred to recreation, the budget would triple, over $3 million. There's also talk for a parish-wide sewer program. The plan recently presented to you, Council, by the Corps is the same plan presented last fall to the previous Council. Some politicians are pushing this parish-wide sewer, but the Council has not adopted a plan. The Corps' plan does not mean that every home in the parish will be connected. It's important. After 4 phases, over 20 years, at an estimated cost of $183 million to build and $3.5 million to operate annually, this plan states at 1.3, quote, residents in low-density population zones and wetland areas will continue to be served by on-site residential water treatment plants. Present systems maintained and operated by the parish budget are going bankrupt. Citizens, don't be fooled. And elected officials, please tell the people the truth, and let's be specific on the agenda. Thank you.
Parish President, you have anything else?
The only comment that I'd have, I just want to thank Mr. Cullens, yourself, for going to the hospital board and meeting with those folks, and I think what's going to happen, they're going to end up giving the health unit $200,000 this year to help us with some of our programs. But when comments are just comments, they're not for anything to act on. If something comes up that I think like this that you need to know about, it just gives me an opportunity to do so. And it says Parish President's report, so I am reporting. I'm not asking you to do anything on this, to take any action. But sometimes we do get good news, and this is one, and it's going to certainly help us out and hopefully offset the need for taxes, as Ms. Goplet talked about. So if we can work with different entities and do these things, we certainly can help offset the need for extra revenues. But again, that's another subject to be taken on at another time. But I appreciate. I just want to say thank you to the hospital board and thank y'all for your help and attaining those funds.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Councilman Thompson.
Yes, I'd just like to commend Parish President Martinez and his staff for doing the job that they're doing right now, organizing different things in the parish, and commend this council at working together and trying to move this parish forward. And I think that it's time, and the federal and state officials will see that, and we probably will get some dollars here in the parish because we're working together as a team. And thank you again, President.
Okay, sir. Anyone else? Councilman Lambert.
Yeah, Mr. President, I talked with several of these guys on the board too, and some of this money was going to maybe be used for mosquito control, to kind of beef up our mosquito control. Since it is a, West Nile virus, it is a mental, health issue, and money can be used for it. And talking with Mr. Sheets, he said that he was going to try to maybe assist and put some of that money in this particular department, and I was hoping we would because it's needed.
We gave them a breakdown. We haven't gotten the final way it's going to be allocated, but I just wanted to thank them because I know they're going to do it for us. When the hospital, they're leasing it now, they get $1 million a year lease. They're taking the excess funds and they're putting some of the money into the school programs, and they're helping us out. So I mean, it's a good thing, even though the hospital's closed. I mean, and it's also a working and providing some services to the community. So it's a win-win-win situation.
Good.
Okay, sir. Anybody else? Councilman Thompson.
I would like for us to send a letter from this council to the hospital board thanking them for the help.
Okay, sir.
We don't need it. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody? Okay. Thank you, President Martinez. Item 7, consent agenda. Items A through E. We've all got in our package.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Shakespeare, second by Councilman Oliver Joseph. Any discussion? Any objection? Consent agenda passes. Committee reports, Personnel Committee, Chairman Benny Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me. The Personnel Committee met earlier this month. Recommendation for appointments. The first one is for the West Ascension Recreation Committee appointments. Ms. Linda Castro, Ms. Sherry White, and Mr. Paul Nitzo.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Shakespeare, second by Councilman Joseph. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes.
The next board is the ACUD number 1 board. Mr. Ronald Julian will be a new appointment to the board recommended by the committee.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Thompson, second by Councilman Joseph.
Excuse me. I withdraw that.
Yes, sir.
I'll second that.
Second by Councilman Cullen. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Next is the East Ascension Hospital Service District Board. 2 reappointments, Mr. Gene Gonzalez and Ms. Sharon Thompson.
So
Motion.
moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Lambert, second by Councilman Kluart. Any discussion?
Why you let me have it?
I'm recusing myself.
Councilman Thompson recused himself. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes.
That's one no vote, you.
The next one is the Keep Ascension Beautiful Committee. We have 4 appointments and 1 reappointment. Ms. Tara Saxon, Ms. Ann Shanefeld, Mr. Blaine P.T., Ms. Wendy Gonzalez is a reappointment, and Mr. Kirk Bailey is a new appointment.
Moved by Councilman Valentine, second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
The last item, Mr. Chairman, the Economic Development Board came to us with some recommendations on changing the lengths of terms for the board members, and we have been presented with a resolution of change for the
I have a motion by Councilman Kluart,
Second.
second by Councilman Cullen. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kirk DeLatte was left off of ACUD 1. I don't know what happened, but he was one of the other ones that was interviewed.
Was it? Okay, I didn't have that in there. We need to add his name to that.
I like to offer,
You have to wait till
We'll wait till next month or next meeting.
next meeting. You have to wait.
You gotta wait.
I'm not sure why it was left off.
Put it on the paperwork. Make sure.
Okay, we'll go to item 9, Finance Committee report. Chairman Chris Lohr is missing tonight. Vice Chairman Valentine, would you like to read these?
All right, recommendations for the finance meeting of June 12th, approval and plans and authorization for bid 2007, Phase 1.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Lambert, second by Councilman Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
All right, 9B is a change order number 6 for the 2005 road project in the amount of $67,000.
So moved,
That was
Moved by Councilman Kluart.
that was a reduction.
Reduction.
Second.
Second by Councilman Shakespeare. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
9C is a change order number 3 for the 2006 road project, and also is a deduction of $30,475.
Motion by Councilman Thompson.
Second.
Second by Councilman Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
9D is a change order number 1 for the 2007 road project in the amount of $23,000, also a deduction $23,140.
Motion by Councilman Shakespeare. Second by Councilman Thompson. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Of course, we always encourage when we do 3 change orders, and they all bringing money back to us. And 9E is the J&J Engineer proposal to design for DPW building in Donaldsonville in the amount of $69,430.
Moved by Councilman Shakespeare, second by Councilman Joseph. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
That concludes.
Thank you, Councilman Valentine. Item 10, Utilities Committee, Chairman Adrian Thompson.
Yes, this is a task order, jail expansion task order, contract with Riverside Title, and that was passed through committee unanimously.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Shakespeare. Second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Anything else, Councilman Thompson?
No, sir, I'm sorry. Thank you.
All right, sir. Item 11, Chairman Dempsey Lambert, Transportation Committee.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll call on Mr. Bob Turner.
Thank you, Chairman Lambert. Chairman Bell, members of the council. Item 11A is approval of a task order for the testing, geotechnical testing of the construction work on our 2007 RCO1, recommended by the Transportation Committee in the amount of $16,442.45.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by, I didn't see the second, Councilman Oliver Joseph. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Item 11B is the request to authorize the increase in a task order contract for SJB from $100,000 to $200,000. Council policy on task order, master task order contracts have set the task order amounts at $100,000. If the amount exceeds that, then we need to come back before the council and ask that that cap be raised. That does not mean that SJB would have a $200,000 task order, but this raises the cap, and this is needed because they're currently working on 3 major projects for us. They're acquiring right-of-way on West Worthy project.
Motion by Councilman Thompson. Second by Councilman Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Councilman Joseph.
Mr. Bob, this is a one-time situation. Right?
This has, yes, it's one time. I think it's due to the fact that we've got 3 major projects going on, and I don't think we'll see this very often. And again, this does not authorize them a $200,000 contract. Clearly, any work has to be done by a separate task order, which will come before the council for approval.
Thank you, Mr.
Any more discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman Lambert. All right, item 12, Recreation Committee, Chairman Oliver Joseph. I will have a speaker, Ms. Catherine.
Thank you, Chairman Bell. One of the most important parts of any successful community project is public input. The public will pay for and use the facilities. Citizens are the most important stakeholders. And this survey was recommended and proposed by the Recreation Committee and is designed to be taken by 300 to 400 people in Ascension Parish or residents. It'll be filled out, and then they'll statistically pick who they'll take this to, and then they'll tape the residents will tape it on the door when they're finished, and it'll be picked up by a representative of the Percy and Company out of Baton Rouge. That's by way of explanation. The results of this survey will be tabulated and used to help formulate a master plan for recreation. This survey for a master plan should not be confused with the Lamar-Dixon Expo Center Recreation Master Plan. They both have the same word, master plan, in them. This was presented last September. The Lamar Master Plan is being done by SJB for $65,000. They did not ask for public input prior to formulating the plan. SJB noted Ascension has a strong neighborhood park system and well located throughout the parish, including 16 parish parks, 5 city-operated parks, and 1 public swimming facility. Maintaining the present properties in good condition should be a priority while we are considering additional property through the development of this master plan. This year, the Boy Scouts could not have their day camp at Lamar, which is being leased by the parish with a budget of over $2 million, because they did not have the $1,000 necessary to rent the space. They were sent to the Civic Center in Sorrento. This is a parish-operated park. However, the well at the Civic Center is not functioning properly, and this causes problems with the toilets. Boporto Special Tuesday is also meeting at the Civic Center in June and July. The acting recreation director is well aware of the situation. Your budget amendments for 2008 include $55,000 for fans at Lamar. The well at the Civic Center will cost much less than this to fix, and is constantly in use this summer by the residents. I would ask you to please ask the administration to address the needs. The survey itself will be essential for any master plan developed.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have the recreation survey for a master plan, and this is for the quality of life in Ascension Parish, and everyone have a copy of it, and we just, committee approved it, and looking for council approval so we can move on with the survey. Motion.
Motion by Councilman Thompson, second by Councilman Cullen. Any discussion? Any objection?
Mr.
Motion
Chairman.
carried. I'm sorry.
Parish President.
I just
Parish
want to make
President.
a couple comments on Ms. Goblet's comments. All I heard about the Boy Scout deal was good. I mean, I got all good feedback. They were very, very satisfied. They kept the place, clean. They enjoyed themselves. Like I said, all I got on that project, and like I said, it didn't cost them $1,000. They didn't utilize the buildings. They just utilized the grounds, and I thought it was a huge success. But maybe I don't know, Mr. Johnston, you heard anything?
The comments that I got were all positive as well. And my sister was in charge of that, and everything went over fine.
Okay. And Mr. Gautro's still here. I'd like to maybe address the well situation. I mean, I'm not aware of it, but if we have a problem there, we certainly want to fix it. Gorney? No, he's done here. But we'll take care of the well if there's a problem, I assure you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Councilman Schick-Snyder.
Well, I just want to echo. I've had nothing but positive comments about the Boy Scout program and everything they had in Ascension Civic Center is in good shape and doing well. I appreciate administration efforts on that area, and I also appreciate Recreation Committee for coming up with a survey such as this, get things out in the community and find out our needs, and we need to address our needs. And so we're trying to find out what we need to do, how we need to go about doing it, and how we can fund it. So that's the way to start. So I appreciate all the efforts there too.
Thank you, Councilman Schick-Snyder. Councilman Kluart.
Yeah, I'd just like to request out of any council members right now, has anybody received any complaints?
I had no complaints. All I heard was good about the whole operation that went on over there. It was a great job they did over there.
Well, I'd just like the public to know that we do represent the public, and that if anybody has any complaints, that our phone numbers, we're there 24 hours a day. If anybody needs to make a call, let us know.
Any more? Councilman Joseph.
Mr. Chairman, and as the chairman of Recreation, and some of us are on Recreation, in the past couple of years, Recreation have been a little bit chaotic, but in the last couple of months under this new administration, Recreation is moving along smoothly. And once again, I have to commend the administration on this here. And so, anyone who have any problem with Recreation, they're always welcome to the Recreation Committee meeting and voice their opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'd like to commend you and your committee for a job well done. Also, Mr. Gorney Gautreaux. Thank you. Any more discussion?
Yes, one more thing, Mr.
Councilman Schick-Snyder.
We need to make note that we're appointing members for the West Side Recreation. They've been having a problem that we hadn't been able to have a quorum for meetings, and so we've completely gone through and revamped how we did that cooperative endeavor agreement to hold people accountable, and people are being held accountable now, and we're going forward, and they're doing a good job. So we just want to let everybody know that things are going to move forward now as we continue on there.
Very good. Thank you, Councilman Schick-Snyder. Anybody else? We had a first, we had a second. Any objection? Motion carries. We'll move into our general business section. We have a presentation of our 2007 audit, Mr. Tommy Lejeune.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Once again, we've got another year behind us, and it's certainly been our pleasure to serve the parish as its auditor. I've got two documents in front of you tonight for your consideration. The first is the big document, which is about 250 pages of information. We won't go through that tonight. I've got a separate presentation that we'll walk through that summarizes the results of the audit. But before we do that, one of the things that's different this year with this document is you've gone through, a process was gone through that basically it added a lot of additional effort as well as information that's useful in an annual report. And basically, this was prepared to be submitted to a national organization or association that's related to government finance, and it's submitted for their review, and you're eligible for certificate of or certificate related to financial reporting excellence. So basically, with that, it's a nice looking document, and in addition to that, certain parts, particularly if you go to page 167. There's a lot of interesting information that's been added to the document that you haven't seen in past audits. But just simply looking at this one index, there are a number of just trend information, a lot of things that are useful when you're in the process of issuing bonds, a lot of the debt, the bonds that you end up buying, a lot of this information is necessary and is used in terms of the trends or the statistical information that they need when that information is pulled together. But overall, I wanted to come in and simply recognize Gwen and her group. I see she's the only one here tonight, but they did exert a lot of energy with respect to this document, and certainly should get some special acknowledgement as a result. What I'm going to go through is this separate document, which is going to summarize the operating results for 2007. And basically, I want to start on page 3, which summarizes for you the council administered funds and gives you 5 sets of information. The first is looking at total fund balance and where each of your funds began the year in 2006. What operating surplus or deficit they incurred or experienced during 2007, what the 2007 actual fund balance finished at, what 2008's projected surplus or deficit looks like from a budgetary perspective, and then what the projected fund balance looks like at the end of this coming fiscal year. I'm going to start at the bottom of the page and under the line for total, basically coming up and summarizing all of the different fund areas. You can see overall you started with about $75.3 million in fund balance. Moving over one column to the right, your total operating surplus for the year was about $75.6 million. Now, one of the things that's misleading here is during 2007 you issued 2 major bonds that for the jail expansion as well as for the East Ascension drainage, you issued about $75 million in new debt. So that basically came in and represented an increase to fund balance. In particular, the capital projects area. That if you look at the second group of funds from the bottom, that for the year, that area had about a $64 million surplus. And a lot of that is a result of debt issued for future capital projects. So that is a big increase in terms of the amount of cash position that you have as well as fund balance. But a lot of that is a result of just going out and taking on debt. So keep that in mind. But overall, a good year. I mean, things went up considerably. Where you ended the year at about $150 million, almost $151 million in fund balance, with the majority of that earmarked for capital projects, where you're at almost $102 million in available spending for various capital projects, most notably your road project and the East Ascension drainage project, which now stands at right at $65 million in available money going into 2008. Looking forward and picking up 2008's budgeted surplus and our deficit, here you can see that projected spending for 2008 is about $52.5 million. So you're going to be utilizing a lot of those funds that were received during 2007, and the majority of that is in the capital project area, with $19 million earmarked for spending on roads and just over $19 million earmarked for spending on drainage projects on the east side of the parish. So overall, a lot of utilization of funds over the next year. The last thing I'd point out is all of the funds ended with a positive fund balance, with the exception of 3 that had small fund deficits at the end of 2007. And those occurred in your special revenue area, and in particular the FEMA Repetitive Loss Fund and the Homeland Security Fund. These were grant-related funds, and what happened in this case with the timing of how you submitted for expenditure reimbursements, these fell into a small deficit, which should be rectified over the coming year. Going on to page 4, here we've got total assets for the parish at the end of 2007, and obviously you experienced a pretty significant increase over 2006. And looking at the blue part of this graph, basically you hit, it really was cash. That cash went from, as you can see, about $75 million up over $150 million. So all the other categories stayed relatively consistent with previous years. But looking at that graph, the parish has really two major assets. It's got cash and it's got property, and the rest of it is not as significant as when you compare to those two areas. Keeping cash in mind and looking at the next side of the page on the right-hand side, looking at cash overall, yet you did experience some increase in your special revenue funds, and those typically represent operating funds. So that is an operating surplus in my mind. But the biggest area of change occurred with the yellow part of this graph, which was your cash, and that represents capital project funds which were accumulated during 2007 because of the debt issue. That again, you issued debt of a significant amount, and it's sitting in the bank at the end of the year. Now, the debt was issued late in the year, so that's part of the reason it is where it is. Moving on to page 5, looking at just what fund equity the parish has as well as the liabilities it does owe. For 2007, fund equity really didn't change a significant amount. It went up over 2006, but the real big change was the red part of this graph, which was the debt the parish had. Clearly, we've talked about, as I said earlier, you've issued debt, and obviously that's where it's being reflected. Moving on to the second-hand side of this page with fund equity, most of the funds, special revenue funds, were up over 2006. That's obviously good from an operational standpoint, but the big thing here again is with the debt that was issued, capital project fund balances went up pretty considerably. Looking at page 6, here what we'll do over the next successive pages is look at some of the operational aspects for 2007. And looking at governmental fund revenues, overall you had about $60 million in total resources coming in during 2007. That's up over from last year where you were at about $55 million. So clearly we had additional money coming in. And really it was in two areas. Sales tax was finished the year at about $31 million, and that's up from last year where you were at about $28 million. So you experienced about a $3 million increase, or over 10%. Property tax, which is the green portion of this graph, that's up slightly over last year when you look at it at this point, but overall you finished the year at about $15 million, and that's clearly good. Going on the other side, looking at expenditures, overall we spent the parish spent about $45 million during 2006, and you spent about $55 million during 2007. And one of the things we did with this graph was if you look at the first 5 categories, where you get up to the second blue area, and simply compare that from 06 to 07, there's not a lot of change with respect to those departments in terms of the expenses being made. Really the top 2 areas, the green and the red, is really where you experience that expenditure increase. That public works as well as, and most notably, the capital project spending that you had during 2007, that is really where you experienced your expenditure increase. Not so much from an operational standpoint, but just simply from the amount of capital outlay funds you committed during 2007. Looking at page 7, this basically gives you both your general fund revenues and general fund expenditures. And overall, your revenue is up slightly over 2006, where you're at about $6.5 million in total resources available. Ad valorem tax is really where you experienced that increase, and that was up over last year. On the other hand, looking at the blue part, your licensing and permits was relatively flat to slightly down. So that is overall took away from some of the ad valorem tax gains that you experienced. Moving on to the general fund expenditures, here that you were at about $8 million for 2006, and you finished the year at about $8.1 million for 2007, so relatively flat. I mean, it's not up that considerably. The increases you did experience was in the blue part of the general governmental area, and that basically represents a host of departments that fall within the general fund that the increases you did experience were really in the personnel area. But it wasn't from 8 million to 8.1 million, it's not considerably higher. Moving on to page 8 and looking at your sales tax collections, the first graph gives you all three sales taxes that you collect, not only the 1 cent undedicated tax, but also the East Ascension drainage tax that's collected, as well as the tax, the red part of this, which is the dedicated for fire and roads. Overall, you can see, as I alluded to earlier, that you eclipsed $31 million in total sales tax receipts compared to last year, where you're at about $28 million. So that's pretty significant, and you can see where the trend's been from the last 5 years, that it's been obviously on an upward trend. Coming to the next side of the page, which is, this represents the spending of the green part of this graph, which is the undedicated tax, the 1 cent tax. The 1 cent tax is basically the most significant undedicated, unrestricted money the parish has available to it. And what this graph represents is the spending of that money during 07. Overall, that you took in about $15 million in sales tax, the 1 cent undedicated sales tax, and you spent about $12.5 million. So you were able to basically save, or you had a surplus of about $2.5 million. But a few observations: spending's down from 2006 into 2007. But if you look at the components of what went on here, with some of the revenue gains that the general fund experienced, there was less dependence on this money. So the blue part, you can see that the general fund required less money from that tax, which basically freed it up for other purposes. Road and bridge, which is the green part of this, really spiked up significantly, and that is really as a result of how you broke out your drainage fund last year, and it didn't have the ability to share employees that were doing multiple things. So as a result, that area required more money from the undedicated sales tax. The other thing is that if you look at the yellow part of this graph, where in the past you've been able to take a lot of this excess sales tax and dedicate it to road construction, the road construction fund, whereas you did a significant amount in 2006, you can see that yellow part shrunk considerably in 2007, that you didn't have near as much money going into that fund for future road projects. On page 9, we do a similar analysis for the East Ascension Drainage Fund, and here you can see, with it being both property tax and sales tax driven, that the green part of the revenue in terms of resources has gone up just in relation to what you've seen in some of the other areas. But property tax as well as ad valorem tax basically got you to around $13 million in resources available to this fund in 07. Contrasting that to the expenses, you're at a flat $10 million in both years, for both 06 and 07, and has been flat for a number of years, looking at it from 04 on forward. So it's not as if you're not seeing expenditure growth here, but you took in a significant amount of money and you didn't spend as much as you took in, so you built a nice surplus with respect to this fund. Going on to page 10 and looking at road construction activities, here you've got both the road and bridge fund as well as the road construction fund, and just simply combining these activities just to see what is our road effort looking like. Overall, you had about $10 million in resources, and that was comprised of money that was coming from the sales tax fund, the sales tax funds, some governmental grants, and just other, which really represents money that are interest earnings from idle money. You've got a lot of money sitting in there, and as a result, it's earning some money. But overall, about $10 million came into the fund. For 07, you spent right at $9 million. So overall, there wasn't a significant amount of surplus being built in that area. That we did spend more in terms of capital outlay projects. That if you look at the yellow part, I mean, you just simply are spending more in terms of the amount of appropriate or the amount of dedication and commitment to capital projects in this area. And then in the blue area also grew in terms of your personnel. That cost went up, but overall you did maintain a pretty significant source of you utilized the resources that were available. Going on to page 11, we've got a number of recommendations that we offered this year, both from a operational standpoint, but also there are some technical violations that we've reported here that are considered to be reportable conditions, and rather than them just being opportunities to enhance your situation, these represent things that require more attention than an operational recommendation. Basically, we did meet back on June 3rd with some of the council leadership, some of the chairmen, and also the administration on a number of occasions and reviewed these matters. In all cases, they do represent financial processing and administrative, or they're financial processing and administrative in nature. So I think from your perspective, it's going to be contingent upon the administration to execute the recommendations and eliminate some of these findings. I'm not going to go over all of them. I would tell you that what we found in the grand scheme of things, when you look at the parish overall and the magnitude of its operations, some of these are not that significant when you compare it to the volume of business that you do have. But I'm going to move on and point to
Can
really
I make a comment? Just one comment on. As far as the vehicle fuel cards, I just want to let you know that when we took office, they had right at 400 fuel cards around the parish. We've significantly lowered that from 400 to a little bit less than, I think, 100, or right at 100. We've also instituted a PIN number so where everything will be checked and make sure that it's done properly. We had cards that were issued to boats. We had cards to motorcycles. We had cards to several things. So just on that one, I can assure you we've taken every step possible to make sure, especially with the price of gas and diesel, that every gallon of gas and diesel is accounted for. So, but with 400 cards, it was kind of hard to track. It was no kind of tracking mechanism. But that has been all taken care of, and I can assure you there won't be anything lost.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Schicksnotter.
Just an observation as a compliment. I went by at the office today and found out that from last month to this month, we saved, even though this is the highest amount that we're spending for fuel right now because we're utilizing the most and the highest cost for fuel. The fuel has gone down over $2,000 this month from last month.
That tells you something.
So,
yeah.
They're
And
implementing
I think
some
the parish
good things,
president,
so we wanted to compliment the people that's involved in that.
I think the parish president makes an excellent comment that the thing that occurred with this is that you had a number of cards that were out there and more than you needed, and as a result, there was somebody that took advantage of that situation. And you've done what you needed to do from a fiduciary standpoint with notifying the sheriff as well as the district attorney's office. But the key was getting some security placed on those cards and then eliminating the cards you didn't really need. And that's what's happened during 2008. I'd like to move, the next few comments we really get into a lot of detail with certain areas. I want to just really focus on two things. On page 14, this is a concept or a recommendation we've made from an operational standpoint. It doesn't represent a technical finding. It doesn't represent an internal control weakness, but it's simply an opportunity and a concept we've talked about with respect to multi-year budgeting. Currently you prepare your budget on a year-to-year basis, so you get a year-to-year focus. And what this would offer, or what this exercise would do to you, is one is define where you've been, where are you now, and more importantly, what are you going to do in the future. And simply coming in and preparing a budget over a 3 to 4 year period of time is going to allow you to come in and develop some service priorities, I mean, you're not in the same financial situation that you've been in the past, where you've had flexibility with the use of your 1 cent sales tax. That this would give you an opportunity to really define how you're going to utilize the limited resources you have to address major community concerns, namely infrastructure. How do you define a sustainable revenue source for infrastructure projects, road projects, and simply with this would give you the opportunity to just start that dialogue and then define what are you going to do over the next 4 years, rather than what are we going to do for 2008. And then the last thing I'd like to comment on in terms of these management comments is going to page 15. You know, and we've talked and touched on this even going back when Bert made his presentation in March, dealing with your sewer utility operations. That for the year, the three funds or the three systems you're operating ended the year with about $141,000 deficit from an operating standpoint. Looking at the 2000 budget, you're projecting a $292,000 deficit. You know, your current rate has been pretty flat for a number of years. Any kind of rate increase is not going to offset this amount of money. So you're really challenged with how do you maintain these things where they're not consuming a significant amount of your resources. Looking at where you are now, even comparing that going back to 06 and before, you weren't at these numbers. And this is simply going to come and consume some of your undedicated monies, coming back to the 1 cent tax, that to the extent these deficits grow, you've got to pay for them from somewhere, and you're going to be taking tax dollars to subsidize these types of operations. And you've got 2 more coming on board in the near term, and if these 3 are operated in this manner, there's no reason to believe that the next 2 are going to be profitable. So this is certainly a challenge that's going to have to be addressed financially over the next several years. But with that was a lot of information in a pretty short amount of time. I'd take any questions if you guys have any.
Anybody? Thank you, Tommy. Tommy, you're saying at a later date we'll get more extensive into the big book? You said...
No, generally we just go over a summation of this.
Thank you for your efforts, Bert. Thank you very much. Ms. Gwynn? Thank you. Item 14, acceptance of 2 fire engines for Fire District 1 from the La Place Fire Department. Chairman Benny Johnson, Chief Gene Wietek, Fire District number 1.
Call on Chairman James LeBlanc from Fire District 1. He wants to comment on this. Basically, what's happening, they've identified some needs, and as far as requirements for reserve engines, as well as with some possible stations coming online, LaPlace Fire Department was fixing to get rid of these trucks, and they're wanting to donate them to the Fire District 1 for them to put them in service as needed.
Good evening. That is correct. Right now, we're over the limit when it comes to the rating. You're supposed to have 9 engines in operation, and when you get to 9 engines in operation, you're supposed to have a reserve, and we have a reserve for the 9, and now we're over that 9. So one of the engines will be used for reserve because we're over the 9 engine mark, and also the second one will be used for the new station that we're building on Bayou Terrace.
Make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Kluart, second by Councilman Thompson. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Got to mention the fundraiser they have.
Chief, before we go on, would you like to mention y'all's fundraiser that'll be taking place? I figured you would. Councilman Shakespeare reminded me, so.
Rocking on the river.
Thank y'all so much. Really, July 5th at the Babin Complex at the end of Bayou Terrace, we'll be having our second annual Rockin' the River Festival, which we'll have 4 bands playing, and we'll have the first annual Diversion Canal Idol, where we'll be taking a bunch of children and putting them on stage and showcasing their talent. It'll start at 11 o'clock, and it'll go till 8 o'clock at night, and we'll end the festivities with a large fireworks show put on by ETEL. And all the money raised at this event goes to the construction of the new fire station on Bayou Terrace. And this will be the second annual Rockin' the River Festival, so thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Councilman
Yeah,
Cohen.
yeah, Chief, I'd just like to remind everybody they can get there either by land or by sea. But
That is correct.
That,
You're correct.
We'll take them coming in any direction, up the
Thank you.
diversion, down the A-meet, whatever.
Randy's case by swamp.
Mr. Chairman.
I can make it through Law Ridge.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
One question on
Lambert.
item 14. Ms. Lindsay might have to answer. In the past, when we accepted the fire engines, we had to hit an intergovernment agreement with the other party in order to accept them.
We purchased them. We do. But when we accept a donation, we don't.
You don't? Okay. Just wanted to make sure everybody's clear on that. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Councilman Lambert. We'll move into the ordinance section, introduction of ordinance section. Item 15, introduction of ordinance. Council Manda.
I think you can just make a introduction.
Right, these are just introductions, Chairman, so if
motion
you all want
introduce.
to vote on these, the first one is introduction of an ordinance, servitude revocation for Ascension Industrial Park, Lot 22. It's a 15-foot servitude extending through the southerly side of the lot for Airy LLC.
Motion introduce.
Motion by Councilman Thompson, second by Councilman Schichtenauer. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance introduced. Item 16.
This is an ordinance amending the year 2008 budget. It's a recommendation from the Finance Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Valentine, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Councilman
Just real
Schichtenauer.
quick as a reminder, we went through this in detail at the finance meeting.
Right.
So,
Yes, sir.
all of this, even though it's a large document, has been going over in detail.
Right.
Any more discussion? Any objection? Ordinance introduced. Item 17.
This is the introduction of an ordinance amending the Ascension Parish Planning and Zoning Commission terms for commission members. This was a recommendation from the Personnel Committee meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Thompson, second by Councilman Cullen. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance introduced. Thank you, Ms. Menda. Next, in our planning and zoning recommendation section, item 18. Mr. Ricky Compton, please. Zoning review ID 187-108.
Located on the north side of Bayou Narcisse Road, approximately 400 feet west of Roddy Road, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium-intensity residential to crossroads commercial.
It's a review only. Any discussion? Okay, sir.
Zoning review ID 1873.08, located on the west side of Magnolia Estates, approximately 300 feet north of Perkins Road, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium-intensity residential to mixed use for Lester J. Duplessis.
Okay, sir, for review only, but I would like to say I talked to everybody before the meeting. It's a typo on Lester Duplessis. Should read Terry, Terri, Boyer, Boyer. Item 20, please, sir.
Zoning review ID 1877.08, Tract B1A of the Dick Autry property for Chet Simpson, located on the east side of LA Highway 73, approximately 1,400 feet north of LA Highway 621, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium-intensity residential to mixed use.
Any discussion? Anybody? Okay, sir. Thank you, Mr. Ricky.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move into our public hearing ordinances. Legal counsel, Ms. Lindsay Manda. Item 21.
Purpose, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map by rezoning a certain parcel of land from rural to crossroads commercial. Whereas the Parish of Ascension has in effect a comprehensive plan of zoning, and pursuant to that plan, a parish-wide development code was adopted by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority, which became effective on June 1st, 1999. Whereas the Ascension Parish Development Code provides for procedure for its amendment to allow rezoning of property to a different classification. Whereas the herein below described property is located as such that the rezoning of the property is in conformity with adjacent land uses, in conformity with the general land use plan of the parish, not injurious to adjacent properties, and fully meets the qualifications for rezoning set forth under Louisiana law. Be it ordained that the following described property be rezoned from rural to crossroads commercial, lots C1, D1, C1, D2A, C1, D3A. See attached legal description. Be it further ordained that the land use map of Ascension Parish Development Code be amended to reflect these rezonings, and that the Office of Planning and Zoning be authorized to make such changes.
Okay, I would ask for a motion to open public hearing, please.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Shakespeare, second by Councilman Kluart. Moved to
Second.
close by Councilman Joseph, second by Councilman Thompson. I will need a
Move the ordinance.
motion for the ordinance.
Move the
please.
ordinance.
Moved by Councilman Shakespeare,
Second.
second by Councilman Thompson. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is adopted. Item 24.
To amend the Ascension Parish zoning map by rezoning a certain parcel of land from residential to mixed use. Whereas the Parish of Ascension has in effect a comprehensive plan of zoning, and pursuant to that plan, a parish-wide development code was adopted by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority, which became effective on June 1st, 1999. Whereas the Ascension Parish Development Code provides for procedure for its amendment to allow the rezoning of property to a different classification. Whereas the here and below described property is located as such that rezoning the property is in conformity with adjacent land uses, in conformity with the general land use plan of the parish, not injurious to adjacent properties, and fully meets the qualifications for rezoning set forth under Louisiana law. Be it ordained that the following described property be rezoned from residential to mixed use. Zoning Review ID 1861.08, eastern 2 acres of Lot 1B for Earl Dempsey Pendarvis Jr. and A.G. Picu Sr. and Patricia Picu. See attached legal description attached as Exhibit A. Be it further ordained that the land use map of the Ascension Parish Development Code be amended to reflect these rezonings, and that the Office of Planning and Zoning be authorized to make such changes.
Motion to open, motion by Councilman Kluart, second by Councilman Shakespeare.
Motion to close.
Motion to close by Councilman Thompson, second by Councilman Kluart. Any discussion?
Move the ordinance.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Shakespeare, second by Councilman Thompson. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is adopted. Excuse me. 27, please.
Purpose: to adopt an ordinance to authorize the sale of miscellaneous movable surplus equipment and immovable surplus property from the Parish of Ascension. Whereas the Parish of Ascension has several items of surplus equipment and property that are no longer needed and or have been replaced, and that the Parish of Ascension wishes to dispose of such public property by public auction, be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Council as the governing authority for the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, in lawful session, that the Department of Public Works, through Ascension Parish Purchasing Department, is hereby authorized to sell items of surplus equipment and property attached hereto as Exhibit A by public auction to the highest bidder.
Move. Second.
Got a motion, I'll need a motion to open public hearing. We've got a first motion by Councilman Kluart, second by Councilman Thompson.
Motion to close.
Need a motion to close by Councilman
Second.
Johnson, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Need a motion for the ordinance, please.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Thompson, second by Councilman Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is introduced. Is adopted, I'm sorry. On Councilman 30, 31, and 32, we will pass on. And before we adjourn, I had talked to everybody before the meeting, and there is talk about, what y'all want to do with the July 3rd meeting, Friday being the 4th, people going out of town. I think the consensus was to move it. I just don't know what day.
I'd like to move it up a day.
Councilman
Chairman,
Valentine?
I'd like to move that we put the first July meeting on the agenda to discuss, so we can move it because of the 4th. We need a 2/3.
So moved.
Right. 2/3. I'll need a roll call. Moved by Councilman Lambert. Councilman Valentine, second by Councilman Lambert. I'll need a roll call, please.
Councilman Joseph?
Yes.
Councilman Shakespeare?
Yes.
Councilman Thompson?
Yes.
Councilman Dempsey Lambert?
Yes.
Councilman Kluart?
Yes.
Councilman Valentine?
Yes.
Councilman Todd Lambert?
Yes.
Councilman Dennis Cullen?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
I'd like to offer up a motion in the form of a motion that we move the July 3rd meeting up one day to July 2nd, same time.
We have a motion to move to July 2nd. We have a second by Councilman Cullen.
Discussion.
Any discussion?
Yes.
I have discussion.
Councilman Cluett.
Yes, I'm not being, just wonder, do we have, Madam Secretary, do we have any other meetings? Chair Fellows, do we have any other conflicts? Recreation, strategic planning, anybody?
No. And no finance. Councilman Lambert?
That was my question.
Okay, sir. Councilman Shakespeare.
Yes, I would like to agree with that because on July 3rd, we'll be in Donaldsonville at the fireworks festival that they have there that day, and we would like to invite everyone else there.
Okay, sir. Well, we worked out good on that. Any more discussion, please? Any objection? Motion carries. Our meeting will be moved up one day, same time, 7 o'clock.
Please post.
Motion adjourned.
Have a motion adjourned by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Thompson. We stand adjourned.